Good morning, everyone. We are finishing up our February webinar series today and tomorrow. And the last two topics are really, again, around preparation. How are we going to get ahead of that growth opportunity in China without being prepared and building a knowledge set that's going to give us leverage to be able to protect our business and protect ourselves by going into the market? So on Monday, we were talking about how to save your brand. IP is fundamental in going into any new jurisdiction. On Tuesday, we were looking at incorporating an entity in China and what type of preparation is involved in getting that done. And again, we want to create solid foundations in China so that we are able to scale up at the speed we want to scale up and to avoid the most common obstacles and pitfalls that arrive. So incorporating an entity is, again, something that's fundamental where we need a sound foundation to be able to progress. And yesterday we were talking about how pivotal and vital it is in your organization to have a Chinese accountant and what are these roles and responsibilities that these Chinese accountants are going to be performing. What are their main targets? What are their main goals? What are their KPIs? And ultimately, how are you going to communicate with them and understand there's the skill set that's required? Well, now moving on from that, the biggest question is, how are you going to find and hire your accountant or any other key individuals that you're going to need to have on board when going into China? So in today's episode 4 of, again, getting ahead of the growth opportunity in China, we are looking at how to prepare ourselves and understand how to find employees in China, how to interview those employees in China, what are key critical questions to ask. We're not able to do face-to-face interviews, so how are we going to navigate that with the fact that we can't meet people in person but rather have to do video conference calls and gauge whether they're the right fit for the organization? And finally, what are the options for hiring? Now, let's face it, companies might not be ready to make that commitment and take that investment risk to set up an entity from day one. They may first want to hire somebody on the ground who's going to help facilitate the business, grow the business, and then once they've hit certain trigger points, they will then evaluate about setting up the company, which is pretty logical. But you have to make sure you're going to hire these people legally, right? And you need to know what options exist to be able to make sure that these people are working for you, but are properly hired on the ground, have employment contracts, are contributing to the social insurance and housing fund schemes, are paying income tax. You need to make sure, again, that you're creating a sound foundation, even without an entity, by knowing how to employ these people legally, making sure you're protecting yourself and protecting your business. So if you're interested in 2022 about hiring people in China, recruiting people, not necessarily having an entity on the ground, but having people on the ground, then come join today's webinar session. I'll provide you with the registration link above. If you can't join live, not a problem. You can watch the replay. We'll be sending that out once the recording is completed. I hope you'll find the webinar interesting. I know it is an extremely hot topic, so don't miss out on this great webinar session. Have a great afternoon. Take care and goodbye.